So look, I have a reluctance to do videos like this because one, this is a light-hearted channel and I don't like to encourage political debate too much. However, sometimes it can't really be avoided, like you'll see with this situation. And two, I have these moments where I realise I'm a 28-year-old man sitting in my room talking about Snow White for like 20 minutes and think, what am I doing with my life? However, I'm the same guy who got naked for a John Cena Oscar joke and admitted my love for the Twilight movies. I found myself loving these movies and I don't know who I am anymore because of it. So let's just stop pretending I've got any sort of image or reputation to maintain at this point. Plus, we did it for the Wicked drama, so we might as well do it for this. Go check out that video too after this one, by the way. So from the outside looking in, everyone seems to be saying Disney's new live-action Snow White movie is the worst thing in the history of anything ever, and that the Snow White actress Rachel Zegler is more poisonous than the evil Queen's apple. Is that how you say her name, by the way? Zegler? Ziegler? Ziegler?
Ziegler. Ziegler.
This movie has bombed hard at the box office, receiving brutal reviews.
Let's just have a look at just a few of the summaries here. Lazy, visually repellent, said The Independent. Exhaustingly awful, said The Guardian. I like that one. A strange hot mess came from the Huffington Post. Good enough for TV. That's about the nicest review we've seen. That was from Vanity Fair. And the BBC came up with, the film has a major identity crisis.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I'm sure there would be even more bad reviews if, you know, people were actually going to see the movie in theatres. I mean, there's more people watching Snow White in this scene than there is in the cinemas right now. So what's with all the hate for this movie and its lead star? Let's get into all the reasons why.
Weird.
People making all these comparisons about her looking like Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad?
What about the Huntsman from the original movie? He's rocking that hairdo too. Look, I'm going to do a separate video on all of the memes and the internet's reaction and all of the funny reviews about the movie, all that good stuff, because I don't want this video to be too long and I want to get this out while this is all still relevant. Plus, the more videos I do on it to milk it for views, the better. It's just the YouTuber way.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the man? Get your ass on.
So let's get into the timeline of events that has led us to where we are today, starting all the way back in December of 1937 when Disney's first animated movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released. I'm just reinforcing how old this movie is because it becomes relevant to the Rachel Zegler drama later.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. Reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes.
Okay, Rachel, we get it. It was a revolutionary milestone in animation technology and storytelling, setting the stage for future animated films from Disney and other studios. And naturally, it's a story and movie many generations of children grew up loving and having affection towards. Moving all the way up the timeline to October 2016, The Hollywood Reporter states that Disney is planning the live-action remake of the 1937 film. At this point in time, only the scriptwriter, composers, and producers were being penciled in to be part of the production. We then do an Avengers Endgame time jump to June 2021, where we encounter controversy number one. Everybody's least favourite woman in 2025 so far, Rachel Zegler, is cast in the lead role of Snow White. At this point, she feels more infamous than famous, honestly. Now, in this day and age, Hollywood is under scrutiny for casting choices or for any choices they make if they are deemed to be part of the woke agenda. My opinion on this has always been the same, that you cannot deny the woke agenda at times in Hollywood. However, people do tend to go a bit too far when just a movie with female leads or a female lead in general is considered to be woke. I think that's a bit ridiculous. But don't get me wrong, nobody is woker, I guess is the term, than Disney. And while I do feel like it's important to have characters who represent and are relevant to the times that we live in, we all know that isn't the reason why Disney's and other studios make the choices that they do for their movies. They just want to appear progressive. So Snow White's casting was no exception to backlash. The criticism for Rachel Zegler's casting was mainly that a Latina actress shouldn't be playing a character who is known for having
skin white as snow.
And like I said, this type of reaction is nothing new in movies, particularly for Disney when you're playing around with historical source material.
Disney has a new princess and her name is Halle Bailey. The actress cast to play Ariel in an upcoming Little Mermaid live-action movie. As some praise the bold move, others criticizing the pick online. questioning whether a black woman could portray the fictional red-headed princess. The hashtag #MyAriel quickly trending on Twitter.
A boycott of the soon-to-be-released film Beauty and the Beast. That's because it features an openly gay character, a first for Disney.
In the movie, 2 female characters kiss. Very PC in this world. But that's not good if you want to show the film in Muslim-controlled countries, including Indonesia, Malaysia, and most of the Middle East.
Okay, you know that there's an LGBTQ seed in there, right? Whoa, whoa! Are you serious? No way! They're trying to make the haram halal for our children.
For example, the backlash of Halle Bailey as Ariel in The Little Mermaid being the most obvious to come to mind. Again, my personal view on it is, I don't care who plays who, as long as the best actor to audition is the one who got the part. But my issue is that isn't the logic these studios apply, they just want to appear progressive, which I don't think is the right way to go about it. Do I care though if a black woman is playing a Disney mermaid? No. But do I understand the criticism? Yeah, when it's rational. Would I understand the backlash of a black woman playing Snow White? Obviously. But Rachel Zegler is a light-skinned woman, so I really don't think this is that big a deal that she's playing Snow White. And if you wanted somebody with skin as white as snow literally, it should have been me. I've been editing these old clips into shorts lately, and why did nobody tell me how sick I look? Jesus. I mean, talk about having skin as white as snow. Anyway, again, there is no denying the woke agenda, but people were overreacted, in my opinion, to Zegler cast as Snow White. Like, they had gone so far and so opposite from the character, and recreated the memes of casting Mark Henry as a Disney princess, or Ryan Gosling as Barack Obama. Recently, we all saw the news that actor Papa Siadu, I really hope I'm saying that right, apologies if I'm not, I don't want to end up having one of these moments, you know?
To say their final goodbyes to this fallen Louisville police officer, D.D. Mangudu.
Papa Siadu will be playing Professor Snape in the new Harry Potter TV series, which there I think a degree of backlash is deserved because you're straying so far from the source material. Obviously, backlash where you're sending racist vitriol like a lowlife is completely unacceptable. But in terms of the source material argument, I don't think in these 2 particular incidences that's really the case here. I don't know, I just didn't see her ethnicity being that big a deal in this instance. I do completely understand the criticism to a degree, I just don't think it deserved as big a backlash as it got. But also, I think what most of it boils down to is people being sick of big studios like Disney changing and messing with things that have existed for decades, instead of maybe, I don't know, making new original stories, which is a completely valid take also. But I do think the arguments against a black actor or actress for Snow White is a lot more valid than it is in the cases of Snape and Ariel, given one of the character's biggest traits is having
Skin white as snow.
Hence the name. I respect and agree with the argument of staying loyal to source material, but once again, using Snape and Ariel as examples, I can't see how their physical appearance or ethnicity is as important as Snow White's. I hope I'm getting my point across here.
I'm not a racist. No, I can understand that.
Because talking about this kind of opinion online is obviously risky and treading a dangerous path, because the internet is where you'll find the least rational people. Not you personally though. You're my favourite. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's all just make-believe movies and shows. And the main thing to always remember is, whatever choices these studios and companies make, we're always guaranteed amazing memes from it, which I consider to be a massive win.
I see this as an absolute win.
Of course, let me know what you think down below. In November of the same year, Gal Gadot was cast as the Evil Queen, and I don't remember any objections or fanfare about this, but if I'm wrong, do be sure to let me know. That's another example though, where if a black woman was cast to play the Wicked Queen, I wouldn't see any issue with that. But I respect those whose only genuine argument is that it goes against source material. But still, I don't think we always have to be super loyal to it in that degree anyway, personally. But just make new stuff, Disney. And as we'll go into later in this video, and as Snow White here is a perfect example of, rehashing old content isn't always a guaranteed cash grab. You guys can debate this all you want in the comments below. All I ask is you keep it respectful. That's controversy 1 out of the way anyway. Bit of a storm of a teacup situation if we're being honest. Controversy 2. This one is the real kicker, I believe. Because the world would have likely moved on from this casting news pretty quickly, but what followed over the years were a series of events where Rachel Zegler did nothing to endear herself to the public.
I'm a narcissist.
Now, this is a clip you've probably seen several times before.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
Someday my prince will come.
Again, attacking a movie that's loved by generations that you're going to be remaking. Also not the best move.
maybe not destroy a classic from my childhood and put an actress in there that not only hates the plot and the storyline of the movie she's in, but also seemingly hates Snow White, the character herself.
Also, there's something so iconic about being part of the first, fairy tale ever told by Disney. It's the first, long animated movie ever to be released, and it was amazing. I even remember being a babysitter and showing that we tried to keep them engaged and interested, and whenever they got too tired, I used to always play this film for them. But I think there's something so special about Snow White, the fact that it's about the humanity and it's about nature as well, and it's a beautiful story about an amazing girl who wants to find the true self of hers. That is just so appealing and so special.
I was scared of the original cartoon.
I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film. The reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant to where we are today.
A prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yep. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I mean, there's a section of people who you are already fighting an uphill battle with who hate the idea of Disney just remaking live action versions of classics in the first place anyway. But the attitude of saying, even if it's tongue-in-cheek, that your male co-star could be cut from the movie completely, and basically you giving the impression that you couldn't really give a shit because, he's not me and he's not really as important to the story, just being dismissive of him. It's just not a very good look as a human being, let alone as an employee or a fellow actor. But I gotta say, I am very glad of her making the point about the prince stalking her, because it gave me the idea and the perfect chance to make this edit.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
I'm wishing to find today. Oh!
Hello.
Oh.
Did I frighten you? Wait, please. Don't run away.
Love me! Love me! Love me!
Hello, gorgeous.
If I can't have you, no one can.
I am a 28-year-old man with way too much time on my hands, if that wasn't apparent enough already.
Very evidently so.
Anyway, she says the prince is weird for stalking her. In this film, Snow White finds a house and just decides to clean it, reorganise a stranger's home, and nose around it like some sort of come dine with me guest final boss. So nobody's perfect in this movie from 1937, Rachel, okay? If I was making a Snow White remake, I would do a version a bit like that, though, where you just keep the original animation and just change it up a little bit.
One song my heart keeps singing.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. From the screen to the ring to the pen to the key.
But Rachel Zegler's highlight reel of being interviewed about this movie and playing this character just really isn't a good one. Take a look for yourself.
Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
I realized what I was auditioning for, and then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. But it was very sweet. And it was a very short audition process for me. I did one more screen test, and then it was just so exciting from the word go.
Do people call you Maria on the street?
Boy, do they.
They do. Oh, that's
my
great.
God.
That's got to be delightful,
They
huh?
sing to me
Oh.
all the time. I walked to the ladies' room, and there was a man coming out of the men's room, and he looked at me, and he just went, "I've just kissed a girl named Maria." And I came back from the bathroom, and I walked up to DJ Catrona, and I grabbed him by the shoulders. I said, "We need to leave."
Oh, really? Have you ever been to that Snow White ride at Disneyland?
I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and it is I have to pretend like, oh, God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
I'm a narcissist. I don't know. And it's always like my publicist Ashton was with me the last time it happened, and I was like, God, I hope no one, because every time they come up to me, I'm always online for this freaking ride, and they think it's like I'm standing there waiting for the photo op, being like,
well, you kind of are, you know?
It's just one of those things
Yeah,
that comes with the
well,
territory.
then if you love it, don't let them scare you away from the Snow White ride.
Yeah.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes?
I needed a job. I'm being so serious. I mean, a lot of people keep asking me, hi, Adam. My agent's over there. Hi, Ken. My lawyer. My entire family is here. Hi, everybody. Sorry.
It's really hard to act like you don't know how to do.
I'm smiling because this is such a humble brag. She's basically saying the hardest I've ever worked to sell myself is like pretending not to be talented.
And you would too.
This is a DC movie, but of course you have a close relationship with Disney now. Could we ever see you step into the Marvel universe?
I would love a job. That's all I have to say.
I'd probably be exactly the same in that situation, to be honest. So her attitude and way of presenting herself is one thing. Disney, of course, would hate the idea of one of their stars being so unliked. What pissed them off even more, though...
Rachel Zegler, infamous for all sorts of outbursts, including this one after Donald Trump won the 2024 election, posting, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." Goodness me. How badly is this going for Disney, Kinsey?
The New York Times reported that Disney bosses exploded in August 2024 after she shared a trailer for the movie on Twitter and captioned it, "And always remember, free Palestine." It forced the Snow White producer to go have a meeting with her, flying from LA to New York. And they had these crisis talks where he stressed to her, "You've got to watch what you say online because you could alienate half of your audience." And he went home feeling pretty confident in it. And then she pulled this Donald Trump stunt. And people were so outraged by the Donald Trump post that she actually had to come out and apologize. I don't think she's learned any lessons from this. She just seems to be relentless in her being outspoken and politically salacious in some ways, and I think that it hasn't done. Disney has learned their lesson. I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
We have a really important presidential election coming up, and Lenny is very eager for you to vote for Kamala Harris. And it's actually non-negotiable. Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Come on, go vote blue. And if you disagree with the sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
I can't. Thanks.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated.
I'm so ashamed of the fuss I've made.
The Free Palestine post obviously caused a lot of discussion about her relationship with co-star Gal Gadot, an Israeli woman. I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't think I even need to for you to understand why that's such a hot, controversial point. Gal Gadot obviously has her own strong views, which gives her a significant amount of dislike from people too. Allegedly, she's even received death threats, to the point Disney beefed up her private security. So Disney having two stars both disliked from both sides of a political argument was just more nightmare fuel on this fire for them. It even led to the release of the film's first teaser trailer, prompting a boycott of the movie, which, by the way, this is how the like to dislike ratio on that trailer is looking at the time of me editing this video. Yikes. Because Rachel Zegler's social media post happened after filming, there were no reports of issues on set between the pair. According to a report from Variety, the situation intensified after Zegler called Godot a fugly slut. I'm joking, I'm trying to keep it lighthearted.
She is a fugly slut.
After Zegler called Godot a professional pageant queen in an Instagram comment following their Oscars appearance on March the 2nd. The statement was allegedly perceived as dismissive, fueling speculation of a feud. Disney's choice to have the actresses promote the film individually further fueled the rumours, which might be a good thing because I wish they did that with Wicked. Jesus Christ. On March 15th, the premiere for the movie was held and both actresses were kept apart. Gal Gadot and her family sitting 2 rows away from Rachel Zegler.
You can't sit with us!
This is so stupid to sit here and talk about, honestly. This is so petty. I need better advisors on what content I make. For the record, neither woman has publicly addressed any feud between them, but if either of them does, you know it'll be Rachel Zegler who does it. She'll just drop a random, "May Gal Gadot never know peace, screw her and her 4 kids," on her Instagram story. Also, on another more light-hearted note, people don't really like Gal Gadot just because they think her acting sucks.
Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger. I need you to give me the stone. What happened to it? Kalel, no.
Kalel, no. Is it a risk? Yes, but it's necessary.
Why? Because of your guilt?
Are you against me too? Are you? Yes or no?
Controversy 3. Around 6 months after Rachel Zegler's casting announcement, in 2022, Peter Dinklage makes an appearance on Mark Marone's podcast and says the new film sounds like utter shit.
What a pile of...
Okay, I may be paraphrasing a little bit there.
I was a little taken back by the they were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White.
Yeah.
But you're still telling the story of Snow White.
Yeah.
7 Dwarfs.
Sure.
So take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause? From my soapbox, I guess I'm not loud enough. I don't know what studio that is, but they were so proud of that, and all love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought they were doing the right thing. But I'm just like, what are you doing?
That probably made the set of the Hunger Games Song of Fire and Ice or whatever the frick it was called a bit awkward.
I want to act with Peter Dinklage like I do, and he's the best.
Good luck with that poor little songbird.
It only took 3 days for Disney to respond with a short statement. That wasn't meant to be a pun. Peter, don't at me, Peter Dinklage. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. A few days after that, WWE legend Hornswoggle, real name Dylan Postal, said he thought Peter Dinklage was wrong and that his views could cause a big issue for dwarf actors. I'm not doing this on purpose, I promise.
I mean, my biggest thing is he wants to be progressive, and it's all about progression, and I support that completely. But the issue is him being progressive is eliminating 7 potential dream jobs from the dwarf acting community, and that's my issue here. Is he's saying he wants to move forward and do good for the community when these are dream jobs. I got hired by WWE. WWE was my dream job since I was 4 years old. Since I was 4 years old, all I wanted to be was a WWE superstar. And in any other circumstance, it wouldn't have been able to be done by me. I'm not 6 foot, I'm not 250 pounds, but they were looking for a person like me, a little person, to fill this role. They hired me, and I got to live my dream for 10 years. Now, there's dwarf actors out there that their dream is to star in a film, especially a Disney film, because as we know, Disney doesn't do remakes or any of their movies at a small scale. They were going to blow this movie up, obviously. And these are 7 roles that are few and far between for dwarves anyways, that were made for us. And that's what's ridiculous to me about the whole situation is it's not being progressive. You're hurting the community by what you're doing. I hate to say it, and the King Dwarf thing I said, and I mean that. Who put this guy in charge, and why is he the single voice, like for a whole community. Why? Because he throws the red flag, is everything stopped? I've had people from the dwarf community reach out to me saying how this is crazy, that to recast or to make it normal sized humans for these roles. It's just, it's insane. Disney, I know 6 dwarf actors with myself that would love these roles. I'll play Sleepy or Grumpy or whoever, or I'll be a stunt double for one of them for all I care. These are dream roles literally made for our community.
Katrina Kemp, who, while not being part of WWE like Dylan, you may recognise from Netflix wrestling show Glow, said, "It's a missed opportunity to make a movie with 7 little people where they actually have intended characters. There will have been people who would have gladly taken those roles." I mean, obviously, look, I'm not really in a situation to argue what's best for that particular acting community, but yeah, I would have thought they were also seeking roles exactly like this, no? I mean, Warwick Davis's IMDb would look pretty bare if you took away every time he was cast as a goblin or a dwarf or as a leprechaun. Sorry, the leprechaun. Sorry, Hornswoggle. We then see leaked on-set photos in the Daily Mail that seemingly show the 7 dwarfs being portrayed by 1 actor with dwarfism and 6 actors who are not little people, but are of different genders and races. Can't deny the woke agenda in this one, eh? Honestly, it's a good job Disney don't run panto season here, isn't it?
Oh, no, it isn't.
Fellow Brits, you know exactly what I mean. But of course, this did nothing but intensify the ongoing backlash against the film, initially denying the photos' authenticity. Alright, Prince Andrew. Disney later confirmed that, okay, actually they were taken on the set, but featured stand-ins and were not official images. Bullshit. In October 2023, amid the Screen Actors Guild strike, Disney delayed the film's release by a year from March 2024 to March 2025, while also revealing that they would not only be replacing the 7 diversity hires, but also ending any hope of little people actors being given any work in this film, and just using CGI instead. So both sets of actors lose out on work, I guess, sadly. Variety then reports that Disney will be scaling back the March 15th Los Angeles premiere of the film and won't be inviting journalists onto the red carpet. Instead, the event will only include photographers and house interviewers. Martin Kleber, the voice actor for Grumpy, the most anti-woke dwarf, ironically.
Women. She's a female, and all females is poison.
Voiced his disappointment to the New York Post about the premiere being scaled back, saying, "I'm not disappointed in Disney, I'm disappointed in the world." He also told The Hollywood Reporter that the premiere is smaller out of fear of the blowback from different people in society. The actor says the changes were due to the controversy with Rachel, though he then clarifies this by saying he wasn't given an actual specific reason. A source with knowledge of the situation tells People.com that nothing was scaled back. It was always the plan to have an afternoon event for families, as Disney has done in the past on other family films. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. At the premiere in LA, Zegler and Godot both attend, smiling and posing side by side in red carpet photos with producers Mark Platt and Jared LeBoff, probably saying that wrong. So maybe all is well between the pair now. Except a couple of days later, on the film's theatrical release, Rachel Zegler shares an Instagram post, of course she does, thanking her entire Snow White family, which includes her Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew?
No.
Oh, sorry, no. Her Prince, Andrew Burnett. Grammar's very important. Director Supreme Mark Webb, Mark Webb's assistant, the film's first AD, and Connor from Props. Hey, good on you, Connor, getting a mention in like that. I think you're in there with Rachel, mate. You may have noticed Gal Gadot didn't get a mention, but I'm sure there's nothing in that.
Gosh, that's a bad sign.
God, I hate it when I sound like a drama channel so much. All right, let's talk about the box office and critical reception. So look, this movie's making as much money as Susan Boyle probably would do in OnlyFans.
I really hope that it encourages people to go out and see it in a theater.
And I got news for you.
Somebody said Snow White and the 7 tickets sold. Look, the movie is breaking records though. It's now the lowest opening for a live-action remake. Woo! Go team! Rachel Zegler filmed her reaction to the movie in an empty theatre. Don't think it was a private home one or anything either.
Please?
For which movie?
She didn't stop there though, of course. She then went on social media to have another meltdown, of course.
Everyone who hates when I win. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere, And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Okay. Jonah Platt, the son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, has blamed the underwhelming box office performance personally on Rachel Zegler. He accused her of narcissism and for dragging her personal politics into the promotion of the movie. He even got into arguments with people on the Instagram comments about it. So trying to find a positive review for this movie is like, well look, I was going to say it's like mining for diamonds, but the dwarves seem to have no trouble. Like seriously, how are they not rich as hell? Or are the diamonds just so common in this universe that they're worthless? If so, what are they mining them for? Anyway, as I was saying, trying to find a good review for this movie is like trying to find the right haystack in a field of haystacks that the needle is even in. Disney's 2025 has been off to a rough start, if we're being honest. Captain America Brave New World had a lackluster performance at the box office back in February, and Disney would have been expecting a much better performance in comparison from Snow White at the theatres. Or maybe not, given all the controversies over the last 3 and 4 years. I mean, nobody knows the expense of the reshoots more than they do. Internationally, at the time of this recording, Snow White is yet to reach the coveted 100 million mark after nearly a week in theatres, which is honestly insane. Estimates suggest the movie would need to make 600 million globally just to break even.
Gosh, that's a bad sign.
Disney's latest live-action movie, Mufasa the Lion King, surpassed $750 million worldwide, despite debuting with just 35 million domestically. However, you could argue that that movie benefited from having a holiday release, a time traditionally favourable for family movies. You know, put any old shite on just to shut the kids up, basically. Sadly, Snow White's box office struggles are not the first for Rachel Zegler either, as she's been involved in several commercially underperforming projects. Her film debut was in Steven Spielberg's 2021 remake of West Side Story, which, while earning critical acclaim, faced box office difficulties. The film grossed just $76 million against a $100 million budget, lightly impacted by the post-COVID challenges faced by theatres, to be fair. Rest in the land. Zegler's second movie, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, brought in 134.1 million, not billion, geez, on a 125 million budget, earning less than half of the original Shazam's earnings. Not that she was to blame for that. I mean, that movie had its own reasons and problems that were completely nothing to do with her, but it's just another L on her resume. I mean, she's got more L's than that long town name in Wales at this point. Breaking news as a quick addition to this, the Jason Statham movie Working Man, as part of the series of Jason Statham movies named after a job title where he's actually just an assassin, which, don't get me wrong, I love, has overtaken Snow White at the box office. That is insane. Truly, that is absolutely insane, everybody. Nobody here, I'm on my own. But an action B movie overtaking a huge Disney release is honestly just incredible. Anyway, that's about the gist and all of this. Let me know down below your thoughts on all of this and if I missed anything from all of the drama. I'm sure there's smaller controversies that I could have blew up into bigger ones just so I could title this video Snow White and the 7 Dramas. But honestly, that's just enough Disney princess drama for one day for me. I want to go watch the FA Cup games. Use the link below to watch the funny reviews and memes video about Snow White.
Oh, and I forgot to say in the recording, please do like, subscribe and share this video. This is me literally going into making the video. This is me right now at the end of the edit. This was a long one. So any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Take care of yourselves, mates. Don't let the old bastards in life, like Rachel Zegler apparently, grind you down, the begrudges, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi-ho!
I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes.